And it's over, by the way. Congratulations. Round of applause. Pandemic's over. Pandemic's over. The NFL is no longer, because this is all based around science,
okay,
right?
What we
so, the NFL is no longer doing it.
NFL's a conspiracy theory. It's not real. It's fake.
Yeah.
And the pandemic is over. Well done, everyone.
How fucking stupid is this? Would you just declare victory? Like, are you awake to it yet? Are you aware of how much the wool has been pulled over your eyes, people? I mean, for fuck's sake.
What, about the pandemic?
Yes.
Oh, shut up.
No, come on. All of a sudden, we can just declare victory, and now the NFL doesn't have to do COVID stipulations.
The pandemic isn't over. That's the point. It's so stupid.
Biden declared victory.
Look, this is what I feel about the pandemic. We have different views on this.
Yeah.
When people are saying shit like, 99.9% of people survive, I'm like, that means millions and millions and millions of people are still dying. We were doing what we could as a society to keep people healthy, to keep people like my mum, who's immunocompromised,
not according to Johns Hopkins,
to keep people
not according to Johns
safe,
Hopkins,
right? I masked up, I sanitized my hands. Knock on wood, I have not had coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I was working the whole pandemic because I followed the rule. I wore my mask. I sanitized.
That's not
I
why.
made sure I was careful.
That's not why. You didn't get it.
Why didn't I get it then?
You didn't get it probably because you're healthy enough to beat it through, and then you didn't actually contract it.
Doesn't work that way.
Huh?
So why did you get it?
Yeah.
It's all probability. And I was messed up. I've
been in classes with people that had corona. I was teaching classes and a kid I'd find the next day had coronavirus. But because I stayed away, we distanced, and I was wearing my mask properly the whole time and not touching the outside and then touching my face, I didn't get it.
But here's
I'm not saying if you got coronavirus it's your fault. It's not. There are circumstances where it happened. But we were doing what we could as a society to keep the weakest people healthy, and that is our duty as a society.
This is where I completely disagree. So right now, a lot of articles are coming out, especially out of Johns Hopkins, a specific study which shows and details by data how significantly worse we treated ourselves from a health perspective because of these draconian lockdowns. I'm not saying COVID doesn't exist. I'm saying people were freaking out. Those percentages...
Of course we were freaking out. This is a virus we've never had before.
Right, but those percentages of deaths are fairly comparable to other diseases.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Then why is there a field morgue being built in Central Park? Why was there hospital ships being sent in? This virus was ripping through and killing people. Yes, people die from the flu, right? But this virus in particular, there's still long-term health complications. I have friends that have very severe long-term health complications.
People can't taste.
And they were very healthy individuals.
Yeah.
More complicated than that.
Right.
Not just they can't taste, like severe health complications
Right.
from COVID. This virus was unknown, right? It was different. It was a pandemic. It swept through the world, and it could be very serious for some people. And people had no idea.
I agree with everything you just said.
How it reacted to them. So we were doing what we could as a society to protect people, and that includes reducing the spread so the hospitals can manage. That includes keeping the people, like the kids that I teach, safe, right? So they wouldn't get sick. I had a kid she's 5 years old. She missed a month and a half of school because she got coronavirus and had complications.
I agree with everything you just said.
Right.
So everything you just said is rational.
Yes.
Then we have what our government did.
Like mask mandates?
More than that.
Which is
we
completely
shut
rational.
down the world.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. What are you talking about? We had almost every major nation was on lockdown.
Because we were trying to prevent the spread, Alexander.
There are still powers going on right now that were recently enacted that aren't going to be canceled.
We were trying to prevent the spread of this. No one knew what was going to happen with this pandemic. We were trying to prevent the spread.
So this is my official opinion. I understand the beginning being like, oh my God, we got to make sure. What is this? What are we studying? How deadly is this? What's happening? Makes total sense. But we are way beyond that, right? We're now in a world where people can lock up your finances because you disagree with a forced vaccination.
This is what I don't agree with, right? Okay.
So this is where government takes a legitimate opportunity and then ruins it for everyone else.
Look, do I think
that's what I'm saying?
Do I think there are aspects of this pandemic that have been mishandled? Absolutely, right? People were messy. The rules kept changing.
The numbers were skewed.
It has been difficult because the rules kept changing. You didn't know what you're doing right. But I also get angry when people minimize the pandemic because so many people who minimize the pandemic lived in these empty neighborhoods where it didn't affect them. I stayed in New York the whole pandemic. I saw the field morgue being built in Central Park. I was there, like I saw.
I remember the bodies.
I saw the Comfort, the USS Comfort coming in. They were asking grocery stores to donate freezer trucks so they could hold dead bodies. Like I was in New York while that was happening.
Same
and
here,
I
by the way.
saw it all happening. Yeah. And when you see that kind of shit, when you see a giant freezer tent being built in Central Park to hold dead bodies, you treat the pandemically a little differently.
No, I agree with everything that you're saying, right? I agree with everything that you're saying. However, right? There are so many other factors to it. And this is such a significant moment in our life that it will never be cut perfectly to measure. It'll never be cut perfectly to measure.
What do you mean it'll never be cut perfectly to measure?
Like there's no perfect solution. It's always going to be messy.
There isn't a perfect
solution.
I
understand that. My concern, though, is what happens in the next decade, 2 decades because of this pandemic, not what we had to do during the pandemic. And when the decisions were made to help mitigate choices during the pandemic out of a sense of neighborly care to somebody, I respect that and I understand, right? Like, I'm not going to go see my old grandmother without a mask, right? I would want her to be vaccinated. But that's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about how all of these new laws came in for vaccines. We're going to be following these new laws.
Okay, these laws aren't new at all. There's been vaccine mandates since the 1700s.
Hold on. That's incorrect, because the difference between this vaccine are 2 things. Number one, they signed an indemnity. The most corrupt possible lobby in the U.S. government signed a document that they can't be sued by the United States citizenry. Okay. Number two, it was developed in a year.
It wasn't. It was developed over 10 years. Actually.
No. The mRNA technology was being worked on. But that has nothing to do with the arrangement of vaccines. If you're making a new vaccine and it's slightly different, you still have to go through the FDA process.
Do you know? Right? So I have a friend that works with vaccines, right?
Okay.
And when these labs develop vaccines, most of the time, actually all the time, the labs don't communicate with each other because it's a financial thing, right? They want to be the first one to make the vaccine and make the most money.
That makes sense.
So they don't communicate. They keep that stuff secret. Because coronavirus was such a worldwide epidemic and so many people dying, they put in rules that the labs had to share their research information. So the labs, for the first time, were working together and sharing their information on the vaccine, which is one of the reasons why it's developed quickly. The vaccine has also, we've had coronavirus has been around for
But
years.
It's not the development,
This is COVID-19.
though, Meriel. It's not just the development. To vet a vaccine isn't just how fast it's developed.
No, Alexander, I know this.
But that's what I'm saying. So that whole second point wasn't run through. Like, we didn't test it.
Theories about, we did test it.
But it's not a conspirity theory. It's the way FDA
government
works.
Put so much money into this vaccine to get that. The reason why it was expedited so quickly is we've been developing this vaccine for a long time. It had to be adapted, yes, but the actual the technology has been around for the last 10 years.
The technology, we have not been developing the vaccine for a long time. There's 2 very big distinctions there, right? mRNA is a type of science. The vaccine uses mRNA. We have to approve the vaccine.
It has been approved now. It's been FDA approved.
I understand that. It was rushed to be approved in a year and a half.
It was rushed because we were in a pandemic.
Right. Where most standards are over a multiple period of years so that they can accumulate data after the fact.
We have to wrap up, but I'm just saying I've had my vaccine for over a year now and I'm still waiting for all those weird side effects to kick in that everyone told me would happen.
I hope
I haven't grown an extra leg.
Yep.
My toes didn't fall off.
I hope it doesn't happen. There'll be a really
shit
sad
out my
day.
kidneys. I'm good. So.
No, it's not even like that. But it's okay. Like, we can have disagreements on it. The good news is that it seems like we're through and we're coming out on the other side, which I'm very excited, right? Kids are now able to go back to school and not have a mask on their face, which is awful.
It's
and
not
maybe
awful.
They'll be able to socialize
It gets me
and live a
annoyed when
normal
people
life.
talk about kids being in schools without setting foot in a school, because I've been working in a school the whole pandemic. So when these politicians talk about kids being masked in school and how awful it is, I'm like, you haven't been in a school.
Right. But there is something to be said about a kid wearing a mask, trying to make friends, and it's like weird to communicate. And
my kids have been fine.
Well, I think that would be weird for my kid. I wouldn't want my kid to have that on their face the whole time, but we got to do what we got to do in certain periods of history. I just think that it's, I'm glad that we're on our way through and, we're able to come out on the other side. So
hold my hand.
Hold your hand. Are you shaking?
All right. No. All right. This has been Broken Spoken. Is that how we end?
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Please leave some suggestions in the comments if you want us to start shooting in different locations. I'm thinking we can do some on-the-road stuff.